The fall love song just dropped. The fall wedding song just dropped. Honestly, it will probably be a wedding song for a number of couples for years to come. Let me tell you about it because I am oh so excited, my friends. Because look, I told you months ago that Frances Whitney was something special and that she was something to watch. And she was already really getting out there and making an impression on a lot of fans when one day she met up with another singer-songwriter named Mills in order to just, you know, casually write some songs together. You know how it works. I mean, I guess that's how it works. I'm not a singer-songwriter, I'm just assuming a little bit. But when she met Mills, she knew immediately upon meeting him that he was going to be somebody really important in her life, and she had feelings in her heart and words in her mind, so she started doodling out a little tune. A couple weeks later, their friendship had progressed to something a little bit more than friendship, and she sent him the verse that she had written, and he really loved it. He would end up writing his own verse for it, and then they got together one day and performed the song together. And this video captivated TikTok. It went very viral. There is just something about the fact that these are two people that are very much in love. They're people that are very good with their words. They're people that are very talented musically, and they're also like looking at each other with the most intense eye contact.
Here comes trouble, staring down the barrel of a heartbreak. You're thinking, here comes trouble. I got time for one last mistake. Oh, we're in trouble. It'll be good till it ain't. I see trouble.
Absolutely captivating. It still is. It's still growing. And people were immediately inspired by the song. People were reminded of their own relationships. People were thinking of relationships that they wanted to have. People were thinking about fandoms and the music that they want to use for the fan videos that they would like to make out of this song. So obviously, Mills and Frances, they got to work. They got into the studio. They recorded it. Fortunately, it's very, very similar to the version that they both performed on TikTok, which, you know, cleaned up, better production. It's beautiful. A couple of days ago, the song went live, and in just under 48 hours, it had over 100,000 streams, which both of them are fairly small artists. They are new up-and-coming artists, so getting that level of attention is huge, and only a small fraction of what I think is to come for both Fleeland Band and for Frances Whitney and for Mills. And honestly, there are multiple different levels to this, right? Because the song is good. The relationship that they seem to share with each other, it looks beautiful.
Got it good.
I'm thinking, you're thinking, we're thinking.
Yeah. Okay.
2.
I can see all of it.
I think that that level is captivating with people, but there's also this like understanding that you're getting in on like the ground floor of something. Like, you are getting to see these people fall in love. Like, there is something so wholesome and true and new love, like first couple of weeks about the song. And this is just the beginning of their creative collaborative career together. It's just not particularly common for people to write and release songs very early into a relationship. A lot of times it's after the breakup, or it's several years later when the relationship is a little bit more firm, or it's just two artists who are not romantically involved who are writing a love song and performing a love song, but like, there's no real love there. I think the fact that you can feel something real there, and I think that's what a lot of people, especially younger people, are resounding with. I think it's really hitting that sweet spot as well with like Gen Z and like wanting to get involved with something from the ground floor and see it flourish and see what happens. And I know, like, from my perspective, like, I think obviously people are gonna be like, well, what if the relationship doesn't last? All of that jazz. I think that's a concern with everybody, but I mean, I think in Fleetwood Mac's case, which is a comparison that a lot of people have been making, I mean, obviously that was multiple couples, that's a different thing, but a lot of Fleetwood Mac comparisons are being made here. We know Frances Whitney can write a heck of a breakup song. I think one of the things that for Frances Whitney's fans has made this so exciting is that the very last song that Frances released before this relationship started, before she gave us these hints of this song, was her song Going Somewhere. And there is a particularly poignant, heart-crushing line in that song where she's positing on whether she's too cool for falling in love. Like, to see that progression of like, her original album Old Hobbies was about how she had put aside her music, dismissed it as just a hobby because of a bad relationship with somebody. And it's a lot of breakup songs, and it's a lot of just like really heart-rending, having to learn lessons the hard way in relationships. Unfortunately, very often, many many of us do. And a lot of her songs really resound with a lot of people, and being able to see her make that progression of going from this massive heartbreak and like the situation that obviously was very hard on her, to seeing somebody who genuinely seems to care about her and appreciate her. I mean, at least from the view that we can see. Like, we obviously can't know what's going on in other people's relationships, but the window that we have into this looks very rosy. It looks very good. And just knowing that Francis is really prolific with songs, I'm not as familiar with Mills, but he's got some good songs that I enjoy as well. And I just think that no matter what is happening, we are probably getting like 2-3 different looks on this whole thing. And I can understand that that is probably a very weird thing, but that also, I don't know, I think a lot of this can play into Frances's strengths. She can write songs like no one's business. She writes too many songs. She has too many good songs for an album. I think one of the things that limits her is the whole like traditional songwriting, song production, song release strategy. She can write a lot of songs and they're like not bad songs either. Like, part of me has really wanted her to songwrite for other people, because the songs that she leaves behind that she does not release are better than so many other artists. So one of the things that I think would be really cool is if, especially because this band is like, they both have their solo thing and then they also have this band, I would love to see Frances just release more like lightly produced full songs to TikTok, and then like the ones that do really well on TikTok, put them together on a full album. I think that she could really capture this energy, this interest that a lot of people have, and use it to like, hey, this is a song about how I was feeling this week, let me know if you like it. And she can use this to kind of deal with the frustration that a lot of fans have with artists on TikTok. TikTok artists are very often expected to promote songs before they're out. Sometimes if you're just doing a song that's kind of in rough draft form, it might take a couple of weeks or a month or two to be able to get that song produced, get it sounding good, and get it out to all of the streaming services. I would love to see them kind of take this as an opportunity to diverge from that a little bit, to give like the fans on TikTok a little bit like a rough produced, just like sort of acoustic thing that's not to the same level of high production as like a Spotify type situation, but that can be released on a secondary Spotify or a Bandcamp or something of that nature, and then the best songs can go on albums. And it kind of can be a way to make use of her just incredible songwriting capability. I'm very eager to learn more about Mills and his writing style, and about like just see their art, interpret their art. They're both very talented lyricists, and I think it's going to be very interesting to see how this goes, regardless of whether they do like a traditional release schedule or how they choose to work things out. I am already very excited to hear a couple of songs that Frances has teased that we know are about Mills. I'm very eager to see what Mills does on his own, like as influenced by this relationship. And I just think that on a big level, it's what a lot of people need to see right now. There are so many bad, negative, awful things in the world. We tend to only hear about relationships when they are the literal worst. And yes, there are a lot of challenges. There are a lot of things about dating in modern day that make it very difficult. But I think especially young people want reassurance that like there are good, genuine people out there, people who will actually see you, people that will respect your talents, people whose talents you'll work together with, and like you'll make something as a whole that's tremendous. Like, there is just this palpable sense of them being into each other. And I know that a lot of people that had tuned into Frances's work for the heartbreak songs, they are getting a little bit of inspiration. Like, okay, you know, it's not all heartbreak. There are chances, there are good things, there are good people. Like, a lot of times when you count yourself out, that is when like you meet somebody and you have something that is like magical experience in your life. I think there's very much a narrative arc in Frances's work, especially, like I said, unfortunately, I feel like I'm not focusing on Mills as much. I'm definitely a Frances fan. I have not dipped my toes into Mills as much. That sounds gross. I don't mean that like the weird way that it's coming out. But I think that there's this very beautiful character arc that Frances has been on, where she was treated very poorly by someone and she forgot who she was. And once she reclaimed that, once she reclaimed her music, her song, her voice, her ability to express her deeper feelings, somebody came along that saw that true heart of her and loved her for it. And like, that is just like a good lesson regardless for everybody. And I personally, I am of the belief that a relationship relationship does not have to last forever to be valuable, to be important, to be worthwhile. I think that it is worse to continue to be in a relationship that cannot be saved or should not be saved and have that relationship last forever than it is to date somebody for a year or 5 years or 10 years or whatever, however long, realize at some point, hey, this relationship isn't suiting us the way that we need to be suited. Let's just go our own way before things get nasty and messy so we can still look back at this time that we've spent together. Okay, so I was gonna keep this short so I could get it out quickly, but in the process of editing it, I listened to the song a bunch more and I had a couple more thoughts. I want to discuss it a little more. First off, I know I didn't give Mills nearly enough credit in the introductory, because like I said, haven't been listening to him as long as I've been listening to Francis. I do say though, his voice really does blend incredibly well with Francis's, and I really do love his verse as well. Obviously the one that we had for longest was Francis's. It was in the initial like tease. We didn't get his verse until a little bit later, so I haven't had as much time to sit with it, but now I really love it. I think so many love songs are about like one person being broken, begging the other person to take them or accept me the way that I am, or I'm so grateful because you're better than me and you don't realize you're settling, or worse, it's like I'm going to change myself for this person. Like, I don't necessarily love a lot of love songs for that reason, but just like the way that both of them recognize that like they've been through bad things before and that like previously they may have seen themselves as broken, but coming together in this relationship together as equals, people that have, yes, had things break them in the past, but in the process of rebuilding that has made them stronger and better and more like prepared to accept a real love. Like, that is going to be so powerful with so many listeners, and I'm very excited about the future of this song, because I especially think once the fandom folks get a hold of it, this is going to be great for enemies to lovers. It's definitely going to be great for any like really just broken characters that, you know, manage to find another broken character and fall in love. Certainly doesn't happen in any of the fan fiction that I've written in my life, but and also just like in reading lyrics of a lot of love songs, I don't necessarily feel that like the two parties are seeing each other equally, and like I just feel like there's something about this song that gives me equal footing, especially with the way the world is, and with so many relationships not on equal footing, so many of these relationships where women are, you know, when trad wives are becoming more and more popular, seeing like an actual man who's like, wow, I have a girlfriend who's incredibly talented and we write songs together and they're bangers and I love it, like that, I'm entirely just putting that persona on him based on how I interpret the music. I don't really know him that well, so I apologize if that's not how he actually is, but you know, I don't know. There's something about this song that I think hits in a very wholesome place, and there's so much manufactured, there's so much nefarious things, there's so many love songs that are written by people who like they're women a little bit too young for my taste. Like, you know, there are so many love songs that I just have such a yucky attachment to, and it's just nice to have something that, you know, it doesn't need to be like purely perfectly wholesome, but they definitely at least seem like two real people who like each other and care for each other, and that's really cool to see. But also, like, we need each other. We need to value love again. I think for a lot of years it became kind of like trite to be too interested in your partner or to like be too interested in love, but like you can be sincere about those things. Like, embrace that cringe part of yourselves and embrace that like actual genuine sentimental part of yourself, that earnestness. And I think that's one of the traits that I really love in Frances's writing. She's not afraid to overshare, she's not afraid to be a little bit cringe, and that appeals to a deeply oversharing cringe part of myself. But yeah, I want to keep this short because I want to get it out reasonably quickly, because I just think this song, it's so good. It is so, so good. It's what so many people need right now. Like, clearly the reason that the song went viral the way that it did and why it's getting the response that it did is because people are sick of fake. Like, there is so much fake, there is so much manufactured. We just had Pamela Anderson, Liam Neeson, everything going on with that. There is so much things that are just made for show, made for artifice, coming from like the greater Hollywood showbiz sphere. Having just two real human beings who overshare in their music and who aren't afraid to just be unabashedly into each other. Like, there are a lot of people that think that they are above like acting like they're into their partner on the internet. They're too cool for that. They have to be dismissive. They have to be aloof. It's just nice to see people that aren't doing that, people that aren't like that. They've already done so much with so little, and knowing what I know about Francis and her songwriting and what I've observed in Mills in my time listening to him as a slightly more casual fan than I am as Francis, I just really am very excited of how whatever this is. Like, obviously they both seem like really good people, and I wish them happiness and success together. And like, realistically, when I care about people, I worry about people. Like, after seeing some of the heartbreaking things that Frances has said in her music, some of the pains that she's been through in her life, it's just good to see somebody treat her well and someone see her. And in that person seeing her, more people of a prospective audience are getting to see her as well. If you like Frances Whitney and her music, she is going to be the opener for Nick Mulvey. I've put the tour locations on screen right now. We are trying to get at least a couple fanatics at each of those locations to be cheering for her. So I do highly recommend. I have not had the privilege of seeing her live yet, but all of my friends that have gone to see her are obsessed. Mile High Brendan, her biggest fan, has seen her a number of times, and has really assembled a tremendous fan community. And I think that's one of the things that I love about Frances and her fan community, the Fanatics. We are just like very excited to share Frances Whitney and her music with the world, and also to make friendships amongst each other. And it's just been a really great experience. Fandom is something that is very hugely healing. The Fanatics have very eagerly accepted Mills on board as one of us. I admit that I don't know if Mills has a tour lined up. I thought he did, but now I can't find anything about it. So if I have any updates about where he'll be, where he's going, or anything before I produce this, I will let you know here, but I don't honestly know. He had an album come out in June though. But anyway, I've been Erin Moriarty. I like talking about pop music, pop culture, things of that nature. I like analyzing Taylor Swift from a media literate lens. If any of that is interesting to you, I am still a small content creator myself, so your likes, comments, and subscriptions really do help me out a lot. If you are new here and this is your first time hearing about Frances, I will leave my video all about her. This is before Old Hobbies came out, so I really do sorely need to update it. But if this video does well and you'd like me to do a video about old hobbies, I would be happy to do that for y'all.